Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're exploring the fascinating intersection of technology, art, and the future of creative work as we look ahead to 2026. We are moving way beyond the hype here and digging right into the data, the history, and the human stories that show us exactly how our creative landscape is fundamentally transforming.
So, let's dive right into a question that is absolutely front of mind for artists and enterprises alike. For a really long time, we viewed computers as just tools, right? Like a paintbrush or a calculator. But the research we're unpacking today suggests a massive fundamental shift. We aren't just using tools anymore, we are actually collaborating with them. Here's our roadmap for today. First, the algorithmic art evolution. Second, the human-AI collaboration. Third, tech trends shaping 2026. Fourth, the future of cinema. And finally, the copyright dilemma.
All right, part one, the algorithmic art evolution, a long lineage of mathematical creation.
We often think of generative AI as this sudden, massive disruption, something that just kind of appeared out of nowhere. But it's actually the next logical step in a really long human tradition of using math to make art. It's like a giant puzzle we've been putting together for centuries. Think all the way back to 8th century Islamic Gharid tiles. Those are intricate patterns built on incredibly strict mathematical rules. Fast forward to the 15th century and you have Renaissance painters like Da Vinci using mathematical linear perspective to create depth. By the 1960s, pioneers like Vera Molnar were actually writing code to make plotters physically draw art. And in the 80s, we had digital fractal art. So today's multimodal generative AI isn't some strange anomaly. It's honestly just the most advanced algorithm we've ever had for executing human intent.
Moving right along to part two, the human-AI collaboration, Zara Lueñano's artistic journey.
To see how this builds a deeply human narrative, we need to look at the experience of analog collage artist Zara Lueñano. Her story beautifully bridges the gap between traditional, hands-on artistry and cutting-edge machine generation. Zara hit a creative wall. And well, that's a feeling many of us can absolutely relate to when we're trying to push our work to the next level. She described feeling blind, just trying to figure out what her next artistic evolution should even be. That kind of frustration, that is a universal human experience, no matter what field you're in.
But her experience brilliantly illustrates how AI became the exact tool to break that creative block. She took a physical, static analog piece, fed it into a video generator, and suddenly, boom, her collage was flying. It didn't replace her art, it acted like a catalyst. It completely expanded her limits and showed her possibilities she literally hadn't even envisioned.
So the absolutely crucial point here is how Zara views prompt engineering. She likens it to riding a wild horse. You have what she calls careful riding, where you hold the reins super tight, dictating exactly the colors, the mood, and the lighting you want. And then you have wild riding, where you just give the machine a raw, open prompt and let it run free to see what surprising, completely unpredictable places it takes you. It's such a perfect way to show how human intent collaborates directly with machine unpredictability.
Okay, let's pivot to part three, tech trends shaping 2026, the macroeconomic and software explosion.
Zooming out from the individual artist for a second, let's look at the massive enterprise trends projected for 2026. We are moving from personal creative breakthroughs to systematic global economic shifts. We really need to define something called agentic AI. The shift from a tool that just passively answers a prompt to a system that executes complex, multi-step tasks autonomously, that is nothing short of revolutionary. We are no longer just chatting with a bot. We are delegating to a system that can plan, communicate with other software, and adapt completely on the fly.
Think about what this actually means. This technology essentially turns every single worker into an executive manager who is delegating to a highly specialized digital team. You aren't just generating a single image anymore. You're telling your AI agent to go research a topic, draft a script, create the visuals, and format the final presentation, all while you just oversee the top-level strategy. This completely, fundamentally redefines daily productivity as we know it.
And the hard numbers backing this boom, they are literally staggering. Global generative AI revenue is projected to nearly double in just one single year, leaping from $22 billion in 2025 all the way to $40 billion in 2026. This absolutely proves this isn't just some passing novelty. It is rapidly becoming the foundational infrastructure of the entire modern economy.
Which brings us to part four, the future of cinema. The AI Film Festival Japan 2026.
This massive technological scale is hugely impacting entertainment, and we can see this clearly through the lens of the AI Film Festival Japan happening this November. This is exactly where enterprise trends meet the creative arts on a huge global stage. With generative video reaching photorealistic maturity in 2026, small creators can now produce long-form Hollywood-quality scenes right from their laptops. Remember the early days of AI video where objects would just morph weirdly in the background? Well, we are moving way past that. By pushing temporal coherence, meaning objects don't just randomly disappear between frames, and building in realistic physics, AI is truly democratizing high-fidelity filmmaking.
Looking at the festival's cutting-edge submission categories, the new music score section really stands out. Creators aren't just generating video clips anymore. They are composing full AI-generated soundtracks and vocal syntheses. It proves that multimodal AI is now capable of producing complete, cohesive, deeply emotional experiences. Finally, Part 5, the copyright dilemma. Friction between training data and human creators.
Look, with any massive shift, there is going to be friction. The integration of this technology into society requires us to look at the structural challenges head-on. We face a very complex balancing act here. On one hand, you have the very real, very valid concerns of the creative industry regarding the unauthorized use of their work to train massive commercial models. And on the other hand, you have the structural solutions that governments and tech providers are actively building for 2026. Things like new licensing frameworks, fair compensation models, and automated watermarking to track exactly where AI content came from. It is an ongoing, vital negotiation between rapid innovation and human rights.
And, alongside copyright, privacy is a huge focus. The solution gaining traction is pushing this incredibly powerful processing directly onto our personal devices, keeping sensitive data entirely local. This means you can train a highly personalized model right on your own laptop or phone without ever transmitting your proprietary data to some corporate cloud. It's a massive, much-needed step forward for both enterprise security and your personal privacy.
As we wrap up our journey through the explainer today, this incredibly poignant quote from Zara reminds us why human emotion will always remain the absolute core of the creative process. Even as algorithms become infinitely more complex, it is our unique human desire to express ourselves, to dance, and to build that actually gives the technology its purpose. The AI might be the horse, but we are still the riders.
So, I want to leave you with this thought to mull over. As generative AI fundamentally re-engineers our world, making every single worker a manager and every dreamer a filmmaker, how will you choose to ride the wild horse of the future? Are you going to hold the reins tight, or will you let the machine run free?